Welcome. It's the Con Guy Comic-Con Prep Show. This week it is our Apocalypse show, which means we're talking about The Walking Dead season finale. The Fear of the Walking Dead season premiere, which was great, and then Comic-Con Hotelpocalypse, which was just a disaster for so many in the room. We have so much more, but glad you're joining us this week. See you now.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's The Con Guy Comic-Con Prep Show.
So
we'll see you now. See you now.
See you now.
Yeah.
See you tomorrow. It wouldn't be a show if I did not mess up the cold open there. Right, Candy? Right, Candy? So glad to have you.
Thank you very much.
Everybody, thank you so much for joining us this week on the Con Guy Comic-Con Prep Show. Hopefully you are subscribing to the show there on YouTube, on iTunes, or wherever it is that you are listening to us. We have a really full show tonight, a really fun show, and we have some of the best guests. These are some of our favorite guests. My name is Jim. My name is Jim Frye. I'm the managing editor of theconguy.com, and our sister site, thescareguy.com, and we have a lot of people tonight to introduce. Here we go.
Hey, I'm Derek Sims. I'm a contributor to theconguy.com.
Hi, I'm Jill Roby, one half of Season 2's Ultimate Fan Winners of Talking Dead.
And I'm Brandon Orban-Griggs of thelivingroshone.com.
The other half.
Yeah,
The other half of what you just said.
Yeah.
We should have rehearsed that.
I'm Candy Ford. I am friends of the super fans here, and this is my second time back, and I wanted to thank everybody.
We're glad to have you back, Candy.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
And I'm Katie. I've been here a few times. I am usually the cosplayer, I guess, would be how I would call myself.
But today she's the Hotelpocalypse disaster artist.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
cosplaying a pissed off
Yep.
person about not getting her hotel.
Yep.
And I'm Cheeseman on the couch with theconguy.com and thescareguy.com, and I see you now.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And who was it that was asking Candy? This is Immigrant Song by Led Zeppelin that we're hearing.
Yes.
I don't know why it's called that. I guess we'd have to listen to the words sometime.
I've heard it a few times, and I never knew that was the title of it for some random reason. I was like, what's going to come on? The
Candy,
Immigrant Song.
by the way, Candy, so glad to have you back. Candy is
Thank
a
you.
very funny stand-up comedian that we've had to talk to tonight. But let's try to keep us off the adult list tonight. So
Oh, absolutely. Working clean. Kids can come. It's totally fine. Yeah.
not too clean though.
Okay, got it.
All right. Welcome, guys. How you been doing?
Fantastic.
Yeah, what's been going on?
Keeping busy, trying to keep up with making videos, all the crazy stuff that's going on in the Walking Dead universe, this crossover.
We finally had a video to go like viral.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the whisper theory. It hasn't panned out quite yet, but we're still waiting.
Wait. Explain the whisper theory.
So Brandon actually saw a video from this guy on YouTube called the PT channel where it looked like someone was by this fence where Eugene and Rosita and Daryl were. And then we kind of snowballed that because we thought Rosita was going to die. I mean, she didn't, sadly. But
Oh, so much shade right there.
Ouch.
But yeah, it looked like it was like foreshadowing the whispers, and then the show ends with that huge herd. Like they kept focusing on it. Like I feel like they're setting it up for season 9.
And for those of you who are watching, just to let you know, we will be discussing the majority of the show, at least half the show. We're talking about the season finale of The Walking Dead and the beginning of Fear the Walking Dead, and so we will be having spoilers.
Are we going to try and do a spoiler-free discussion and then transition into the spoiler discussion?
We'll do about 2 or
Or is
3
that even
minutes.
I
possible?
think we tried to do that last time, and then we just threw it because it didn't work.
It's
You know that thing that did the thing and the thing? Yeah, that was a terrible... Yeah, that
Can we
does it.
just have rolling text that says spoiler alert
No.
across the screen? the
Anthony,
entire time?
our eminent producer, has a very good spoiler alert that he's...
Spoiler alert!
okay.
Right
So
there.
that's
There it
it.
is.
The spoiler-free discussion's over.
All right. Great discussion.
Yeah.
So you think this theory might pan out?
I think so. I mean, they with all the other like big bads, they foreshadowed them coming. Like with the wolves, we see them in season 5. When they go to Noah's community, was it Terminus? Bob was hearing them on the radio like before they actually showed up there. So I mean, it would fall in line with what they've done before.
All right.
Did you guys see this particular theory about the face behind the fence? So
No.
it's right before.
You mean in the X-Files?
no,
Remember the
no.
face that was in all the pictures?
Wrong show, Jim.
It's right before the scene where Eugene pukes on Rosita, and she's like yelling at him. they pan to the left and they walk past, and the camera stays there for like 2 seconds. There's a face behind.
No way.
That but I mean,
It wasn't just a crew member in the wrong place.
No,
It was
it's
like a creepy
it's
mask
pretty. I mean,
thing.
it's pretty clearly a face.
Yeah, I completely missed it, and
Although-
Jill told me to go back, and I was
It's,
like, "Oh,
it's the
there
kind
it
of thing
is."
where like you really wouldn't see it unless somebody like pointed it out to you. But once you see it, you cannot unsee it.
Did you
It's
guys
like
catch it the
there.
first time?
No,
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't have known about
Many
it.
people still insist it's just like leaves.
I
and
don't
a
think
stick,
that's-
but it
yeah.
doesn't look like leaves. To
It looks like a
me.
mask.
I don't think it's leaves. I think it's somebody. I think it's probably.
It's right here.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, I don't know. That's kind of hard to say.
Lighten it up.
Let the debate rage.
Yeah.
Let the debate
If
rage.
you lighten it up, though.
Well,
Yeah,
it's like
it's pretty-
the camera stays stationary though the characters move and they just leave.
It's
the
kind of
camera
odd.
there. Yeah.
Are the are the whispers like camouflage like this?
Well, not really. I mean, they wear the skin of walkers
we-
to blend in.
That's the
so-
comics.
Oh.
We don't know what they're gonna do in the show.
I
the
don't
comics, although it seems as if we are following closely to the comics a little
Yeah.
bit, kind of with this last weekend's episode. But let's not go there first. First of all, Derek, if you could go ahead and go through our bulletin board, and here's a bunch of shows and comic
There's a
conventions
bunch
that
of
are
stuff
coming
up, even just in the next 2 weeks. First off, San Diego Comic Fest is this weekend, April 20th to 22nd. And some of the guests for that are Sarah Karloff, Boris Karloff's daughter.
Oh, really?
Yes, Steve
That's
Purcell,
cool.
and they're having a bicentennial celebration of Mary Shelley.
Oh, I love that. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And then at the same time, April 21st and 22nd, there's Marble City Comic Con in Knoxville, Tennessee. Some of their guests include Chris Kamen Lee, who is the Red Ranger for Power Rangers in Space, Cade Jones from Stranger Things, let's see, Maxon Lentz, who's the young kid in Walking Dead that Morgan was training, the little blonde boy.
Henry.
Henry?
Thank
Oh.
you. Yeah.
Everybody's favorite child actor. Character. Let's talk about the character.
And at the same time, Daytona Beach Comic Con is also April 21st to 22nd. And then the following weekend, Calgary Comic and Entertainment Expo is April 27th to 29th, and that's a big one. They've got guests like Jeff Goldblum, Jason Momoa, several cast members from Back to the Future.
Oh, nice.
Leah
Go
Thompson,
there.
Christopher Lloyd.
Did you say Jason Momoa?
I did say
I was gonna
Jason
say
Momoa.
I have
Just
a
wanted to
vendor's
check.
ticket
Did you say
where I would
Jeff
just fly there.
Goldblum?
I did say Jeff Goldblum. Jeff finds a way. Let's see. And again, that's in Calgary, April 27th to 29th. So yeah, if you're up there, check it out. And then if you're just a little bit further south, April 27th to 29th in the Great Philadelphia Comic Con, and one of their guests is Ric Flair, who was on our podcast, sort of.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Bernie Bregman does the best Ric Flair cosplay.
Yeah,
It's
and when
pretty
Bernie
amazing.
Bregman is here, that's when we get the little E symbol next to our podcast. on
Yes.
iTunes.
Yeah, we're very adult when we're explicit
But we
when
love
Bernie's on
Bernie.
there. Yeah.
And then Universal Fan Con is also April 27th to 29th. And let's see, that's in Baltimore, which that's the one we had.
We had guests on the show.
Yes, we had guests on the show. We had one of the planners from Universal Fan Con, who is, and that's one that focuses on diversity and
Right.
inclusion, which all conventions you have a lot of that anyway, but here it's just kind of one of the main emphases of it.
And she's also Anthony, do you remember the name? I am drawing a blank right now. I'm really bad with the name. And she was on our show. She also does your horror movie weekly show with you sometimes. She's helping to plan the Universal Fan Con.
Sean C. Robinson.
Yep. Sean.
Okay, thanks. And then at that same time, the guy from Geek Fest Film Festival was here, and they met on our show. And now Geek Fest Film Festival is going to be at Universal Fan Con.
We
in
made
Baltimore.
an arrangement.
Yeah.
We introduced them.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
And if correct me if I'm wrong, is that the fan convention that actually runs 24 hours?
Yep.
They have events.
It's
all-
a 24-hour fan convention.
What?
They're doing something new this
What
year.
kind of stuff could be
That's
going on at
hardcore.
2 or 3 in the morning?
But they're programming all night long.
Yeah.
They
That
decided
is
to try something new.
hardcore.
You don't need a
Nice.
hotel at that one.
I would hate
No.
to work there.
You just keep going to conventions
Yeah,
or
you just
go
need
to
a
panels all
bunch of
night.
speed or something. Keep yourself awake for 4 days straight.
And the little final thing to announce about the calendar is that San Diego Comic Con is in 13 weeks.
13 weeks and just a
crazy.
couple of days. So if you are watching this live, today is, what month are we in? April 16th.
Yes.
So in exactly 13 weeks and a couple of days will be
weeks
the
and 2 days
19th, which
will
it
be-
starts, or 18th for preview night.
Yeah.
So let's jump into a little bit of San Diego Comic-Con, why don't we? Today being the day we shall live in infamy. What is today, Katie?
It was the second half of Hotelpocalypse.
Okay, can you explain
So-
Hotelpocalypse, please?
Yeah, I've done this so many times. It's like I don't, everybody will be like, "What's that?" Basically, Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con does a lottery system for hotels, where you fill out a form, and even the form is randomized. You could get in that form anywhere from 9 o'clock all the way up until whenever it's over.
9:30.
Yeah, I think 9:30 was when they reached capacity. And you fill out your form for your preferences of downtown hotels and non-downtown hotels. And it tells you the distance, and you say how many people you have. And then the Monday following, they send out a batch of emails to everybody with their hotel assignments, and they have until Thursday to pay their deposit. If they don't pay their deposit, that room gets forfeited for people later on. And then they send out another round, which was today. And usually they're not downtown. Usually they're by airport. And
Some are downtown
some,
still.
yes, but
Some-
a majority of them aren't.
Correct.
And from what I saw on Twitter, I was on Twitter for a long time today, just
You were just burning
And-
up my phone today. Yeah.
Like most of the people who got hotels got their forms submitted before the 6-minute mark. It looked like very few people, from at least the people who are tweeting about it, didn't get it past that. So I think I got in the first 10 minutes and didn't get anything. I had 4 friends, my 4 roommates. None of us got emails. So basically that leaves us with hoping we get on the wait list, which I believe we find out next Monday.
Well,
But-
we were in 9:03, like 9:04, and nothing.
Yeah. And so basically
Was it that quick?
It was that quick.
It's hard to keep track. I don't
But I
even
was
know
seeing
if I have
some tweets today about people going in at 9:01
Yeah.
and not getting
Still
downtown.
not getting it. There were
Yeah.
some people that got in at
Wow.
9 o'clock that did not get it. So I don't really know what on-peak system was
Something
for
fishy about all
it.
this.
Sometimes people say it's random. Other times it's first come first serve. But it's clearly not either of those. So it's interesting. So now everybody's kind of playing the waiting game, seeing if they can find rooms with other people,
Right.
people who have extra rooms, and people drop out. It's just a mess.
But you guys have a backup plan.
We have, thankfully, one of my friends who I usually get his badge, but he got a comp badge because of the whole Hall H thing last year. He went on a computer and went on to Booking.com and happened to find a room that was under $1,000 a night in downtown.
Who can do that,
Oh,
though?
wait.
Yeah.
I thought they blocked
Rich
those
parents.
hotels off. Like I'm so
After
confused.
they do,
They block off the. There's still a few rooms
Yes.
left for people who want to pay the $1,000 a night
full
fee.
rate. And Ben was telling me like a few years back, they went ahead and like paid that, and it was like $1,000 a night or $800 a night because you can go around the system, but it costs you a lot more money.
Oh
They
yeah.
have like 10 people in that room.
Yeah.
know.
So, yeah, we found a room that's fully refundable, thankfully. So hopefully, if we do make wait list where we get, one of the other closer hotels, we'll save money, which is weird, but we will. But hopefully, we'll get a better one. But
Yeah.
at least we have a plan B. If we don't, we won't be.
You guys
camping
are
out.
willing to do $800 a night.
We don't really want to, but the issue with that is that hotel that we found, even though we know that hotel is a great hotel, it's
Which one?
non-refundable. It was Weston. So the Weston
I've stayed there
had a
before.
suite. Yeah, it had a suite for like $800 a night.
So that's like two different. It's like a
Yeah.
two-room suite. So they can.
Yeah.
You can get some people.
We
in.
would have
Yeah,
had,
yeah.
we would have had room for all of us to cosplay, etc., sleep, but it was non-refundable. We would have had to pay it all today, and we wouldn't be able to refund it if we got a better hotel for a better deal. So that's why we got the other one, because they have 100% refund up until like.
You guys got a room,
Well, yeah, we're in Hotel Circle.
which is fantastic. 24-hour shuttle service.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
we're not going to do that. But I did the shuttle service one year, and it was just miserable, and it gets worse every year at Comic-Con. But I will say there was one magical year
Yeah.
where I got to stay at the Hilton Bayfront, right across the freaking
Last
street
year.
from Hall H.
Oh man.
And it was just it was a beautiful time. And
You sound very sad right now.
No, that's a lovely place to stay.
well, not even. I mean, because it's literally you can get up and say, "Oh, I guess I'll go get in line now." You can just walk.
Yeah.
You can look out your window to see
Yeah.
how long the line is, and
Yes.
Good morning, Comic Con.
in all honesty, though, we stayed a few blocks down, and I could look out the window and see how long the line was too, because
Yeah.
it was not short. That
I
couple
feel
years ago.
so like lucky and spoiled because like I live half an hour from the convention center, so I don't really even usually get a hotel because I don't need one. But it's just like, I can imagine the stress of having to do a hotel the same way that you get a ticket now.
Yeah, everything's becoming a lottery because for those who did not get downtown hotels, if you're on the wait list or if you got something a little bit further out, you have until the 22nd to register for the ACE parking lottery. And then there's like 5 rounds of lottery releases that you go through to get your parking spaces.
For that though, you can't like keep your car parked for 4 days. You have to leave at a certain time,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I don't like about it. 'Cause it's
Well,
like,
I mean, you don't want to leave your car down there unless you're staying downtown. Though,
no, I
right?
know, but I meant like
Scoundrels.
you have to find a new place by like what 2 o'clock in the morning to park your car until like 6 or something, right?
Oh my God.
You can't just like park there for the full 4 days and
Right,
not leave,
right.
right? Yeah, and I don't. That's the
Well, but most people who are staying like out in Mission Valley are staying.
Yeah.
They're going to be leaving at the end of the day.
yeah.
I guess.
I've never been to a Comic-Con, and you guys are not making it seem like I want.
It's great.
She's like, why do you? She's over there like, why do you crazy people put yourselves through this every year?
If I have to run 2 errands in one day, I'm wiped
actually
out.
do
So I
like it.
I can't even. What?
Just imagine how much we must love it if we're
Yeah.
willing to suffer through all of these hardships.
You are
Seriously.
passionate.
Drug of choice.
And that is beautiful. That is a beautiful thing. How passionate you are.
But there are a couple of things you can do. A lot of times, after all the hotel sale is done, a lot of rooms will be released, and so there's the wait list. Hopefully, like we put on the wait list. We don't care what the cost is closest to the convention center, so
Yeah.
we'll see what we get.
Does that mean it can be shuttle route still, like
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
one of the other places?
It also means
Okay.
it might not be shuttle route too, though, because that just means closest to the convention center, whatever that hotel is.
Yeah.
And that was a new feature this year that they didn't have last.
Right. This is brand new.
Yeah.
If you're trying to get somewhere though, just get a lift. Don't even that
Or
shuttle
the
like
or the
What's
trolley.
wrong with the shuttle?
because there are lines for it, and then
Yeah.
sometimes you stand there and you wait and you don't even get on the shuttle, and then what are you missing in that time?
It's a lot of people, especially at the end of the day. If you're worn out and you're ready to go,
Yeah.
man, those lines are pretty ferocious
The
sometimes.
trolley is a good thing too, because like it runs every 15,
The trolley
30
is
minutes.
good. Now the trolley gets crowded, of
Yes,
course,
it does, of course,
everybody's
yes.
discovered it. Everybody else uses it too. And Lyft and Uber they're always running there. It's going to be a premium time because
Yeah,
of the
it's true.
crowds.
So are you guys
pricing.
on a list? You too?
On-
For Comic-Con? Is there a
I
list?
mean, yeah, we had our tickets and hotels booked months ago.
There are some ways to get tickets ahead of time, and like the early. I have a feeling you guys probably went through the early hotel sale, which means you're not downtown, but you do have to pay it all at once.
That's correct. And it was-
Non-refundable.
Yeah, and she said that it was like the kind of thing where you had to buy 4 days in
Yeah.
order to get that rate.
Yeah.
It's early bird.
Yeah, the
that-
early bird sale. Yeah.
So how do you even get that? Like why?
Well, what it is most people that were waiting for Hotelpocalypse, as we called it, they're trying to get a downtown room so they can walk there.
Because we didn't care about that.
Yeah, but since you're willing
okay.
to go ahead and drive in or take the shuttle in, you guys are in Hotel Circle, which Hotel Circle is great.
Yeah, it's 10 minutes away.
Those are the hotels with the free breakfasts and everything. Look, I've stayed out there. I like that area. But so if you're willing just to do that, the early bird sale is the way to go.
Yeah.
But for those who don't have a hotel now, you can also go over to Friends of Comic-Con. It's a website where people are exchanging rooms, looking for roommates and different things. They're a
that's
very
cool.
respected site. And
It's like Airbnb, but for Comic-Con people,
yeah,
sort of.
It's what's funny is Comic-Con and a lot of the sites and a lot of people have started to advise against Airbnb for San Diego because
It's astronomical.
yeah, it's astronomical. Plus, people are getting just like gypped so bad because you'll have your room rented a week before. People will figure out, hey, wait, this is San Diego week. They'll cancel your room,
And yeah.
And then sell it to somebody else for
yeah,
a lot more.
or somebody
That's
else.
messed up.
Or
it
it's
is.
just, and we're hearing more and more of that happening down there. So,
I mean, I've camped out before because I didn't have a hotel room, so I've done pretty much
so have you.
everything.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've
Where?
camped out
Just out of-
before, but
For
I
fun
didn't
of
like
it.
camp out the whole weekend.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
camp out in the hotel lobby because they're open all
Um,
night.
well, they
loitering?
get really strict about that because I was waiting
Yeah.
for friends in the lobby once and they told me like you can't sleep here. Like I was falling asleep and they're like you can't sleep here and I was like I'm just waiting for
Where
my
did you
friends.
camp, just out of curiosity?
In line
Oh, okay.
Hall H, sidewalk.
before they did
Suppose.
wristbands.
Well, Katie, you barely know me, but
crazy.
I can make that list dwindle if you want to talk about it. Accidents happen to people every day.
She knows
So, girl,
people. She knows.
brakes fail, dogs attack. Just random.
There is
Yeah,
another
yeah.
deadline, though, we do need to pay attention to, and something brand new this year. You have to verify your badge. Did you know about
Wait,
this?
what?
Really?
Yes, you
I
must-
was just thinking that. Are they ever going to put that in place?
Wait, like online?
You must go online to your member ID, and there you must go and verify the address of your badge this year if you want it shipped to you.
Yeah.
If you want it shipped.
In addition to changing my address?
Yes, you must verify.
If you just change your address, I believe like that verifies it if you just changed it
Probably.
recently. Because I got an email saying your address is verified when I went and changed my
But
shipping
it'll
address.
tell you if you verified it.
But if you
Did you
yeah,
get an
it's
email
kind of-
that said, please verify? Did you guys get that email?
No, this
I
is
got
the first I've heard of
information.
this.
I saw information saying that we needed
Yeah.
to verify, but I think they said like if you've updated since a certain time, or
Right.
if you've updated your address. This
If you
year,
don't verify, it's not a big deal. You just have to wait in line when you get there. Like
pick it up,
to
right.
pick it up.
You still get your badge.
You'll still
of
get your
course,
badge.
But it's just.
But you know how
verifying your
last year they
shipping
mailed it to everybody?
Yeah.
Well, I guess they had so many wrong addresses that it just cost so much money, and they had so many badges returned.
This actually happened to my dad. Like our 2 badges for me and my mom showed up, and my dad's didn't for some reason. And he had to like go through this whole process of getting one like at the con, which was a pain in the ass. Like
Yeah.
I don't even remember what it was that he had to do, but it was crazy.
So before May 14th, verify your badges. Verify your badges. Go on to your member ID, and there's a tab on there. Go to where it says to verify the badge. It's not really that difficult.
Yeah, when you go into contact info and where your shipping address was you weren't able to change it recently. That's opened up again for about a week or so now.
Right.
They froze it during Wondercon, and then for like a week after Wondercon for some reason. I don't know.
And we are in the season where a lot of announcements are going to start coming out about San Diego Comic-Con. For example, the Petco Park area, the zone. What was it called last year? The Petco Park zone, the activation zone. Anyways, it's been taken. You know when you go across the bridge, and over there in the big festival that was over there.
Oh yeah,
That's
like the big parking lot
a
area.
brand new
Yes.
company has taken that over, and this year it's going to be a really cool festival over there with a lot of giant jumbotron screens, and it's going to go all the way till 11 or 12 at night. They're going to have concerts at nighttime over there, so it's going to be basically a festival unto itself right next to Comic-Con this year, which is going to
Where
be
at?
kind of cool. The
Petco Park.
yeah.
Oh, at Petco?
Yeah, at Petco. You know where they had it's the Petco Park to take over the area formerly known as Petco Park Interactive Zone. It's they had a bunch of random things over there.
There was like the zombie walk over
Yeah,
there,
they
or
used to have the
something like that.
zombie thing. Yeah.
But this is in the parking lot right as you get off the bridge walking across the
Right,
footbridge.
just across from Petco, really.
So it's going to be very cool. Free.
Like where they had the MTV fan fest?
No,
thing?
that's inside Petco.
Oh, okay.
This is outside Petco. As you're at Hall H, looking straight out.
I think last year
Look
they
to the
had,
right.
they had the IT experience in the bus. They had
Yeah, the bus was there. The IT experience
okay.
in the bus.
They
and
had
everything.
stuff for the Tick. I think there might have been several Netflix shows.
I know what
that
you're
had been set
talking
up.
about
Yeah.
now.
How do you have a fan festival inside of Petco?
No, it's outside
Oh.
Petco.
I was like,
Inside
it's-
was the MTV
It's
festival,
the
which
MTV
Fan Awards,
Fan Awards,
which we
or
haven't heard
something.
anything about this year yet. So
Right over the bridge from the Hilton.
right. If you're at the Hilton, go across the footbridge, and it's right as you walk off the bridge in that big parking lot.
Can I mention something random real quick?
Yes.
Her Universe Fashion Show is taking submissions for people who want to compete until the
Yep.
27th is the deadline. So if anybody is a fashion designer or costume designer and wants to enter, it is online. You can submit up to 3 designs. And then there's a whole, I don't know if any of you has ever been to it, but it's a big ordeal. It's high fashion, couture fashion that is inspired by nerd culture, geek culture. So they're all influenced by some sort of movie, TV show, book. And then the winner gets to design a clothing line for Hot Topic.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So
Are you submitting?
hopefully.
It's
All right.
it's called Her Universe. Does that
Yes.
mean that it's exclusively female designers?
It
No.
does not have to be exclusively female designers,
Ashley
but the
Eckstein.
fashion must be for women. So you
Okay.
cannot design apparel for men.
It's a line of clothing started by Ashley Eckstein, who plays Ahsoka in the Clone Wars and what's the follow up? Was she in Rebels? Was Ahsoka in
can't
Rebels?
remember.
But she was also in Forces of Destiny. But Ashley Eckstein, she grew up in Disney, and she's a giant Disney fan, and so she decided to make a line of clothing for girls and women, like geek clothes, because all T-shirts were guy shirts. All geek stuff was guy stuff. So she said, let's do it for the girls. And so now she has Her Universe, and it's huge. Yeah, is that from Her Universe?
This was their Comic-Con exclusive that was with Nerdist.
Mm-hmm.
It was designed by Chris Hardwick, but it was at the Her Universe
wow.
her universe booth, man, like 4 years ago. I think they brought something like 350 of them. And I went in on preview night, and like they told me, oh, we don't have any smalls right now. They're going to get more. You can come back. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm staying right here. So, it debuted there, and eventually Nerdist put it on their site, but it technically was a Comic-Con exclusive. A lot of guys actually went to go buy it, I think, even though it's a girls' booth.
I would wear that. That's cool. That's a cool hoodie.
Oh, everybody at work is always like, is there pockets on the back of it? I'm like, oh, yeah. So.
All right.
So what else, Jim?
Real quick, I think that's all we have for Comic-Con, except for very briefly, if you want to, there's a chance. If what's the contest that's happening with Deadpool?
So today on the unofficial Comic-Con blog, which I recommend everybody follow if you want any information about it, Mike's Harder, as in Mike's Harder Lemonade, is having a giveaway, giving away several prizes during their Deadpool 2 contest. One of them is you can get tickets to win to the premiere in May. And then the other, there's also one for San Diego Comic-Con, which includes round-trip airfare, 2 4-day badges, 4 nights hotel accommodation, and a $200 gift card. Wow. So you can go on the Mike's Harder website, and it'll tell you have to be 21 in order to enter because it is an alcohol-sponsored event. But then the Deadpool one is also 2 nights hotel accommodation and a $250 gift card. So I think you can enter either or both. I'm not sure. I just typed in my information. But if anybody's looking for Comic-Con contests, that one's actually like a valid way to get tickets. So.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right, real quick before we jump into another thing, I just want to say again, we congratulated this film a couple weeks ago, but Black Panther has now, it's the biggest superhero. Boy, oh boy, I have not. Superhero. It's the biggest superhero.
It's because
film.
of Hotelpocalypse. It's already.
It's just got me all knocked off. But like, Black Panther is the biggest superhero film ever. $1.3 billion. This week, Marvel released this big infographic that we will be featuring on our page, but it's all over the internet right now about like all the big milestones and things they've hit. You know, the $202 million 3-day opening, the 240 something 4-day opening, and it's
been huge.
It's huge. And here's the thing. Right now, Infinity War has doubled the ticket sales at this time of Black Panther, and its tracking has gone so high off the charts that they can't even track how high it's going to go now. It's a lot of that is because people feel they're getting Black Panther Part 2.
Yeah.
I mean, let's not lie.
They're really pushing it.
Yeah. Have you seen the new trailers? It's like they all Black Panthered it up. So
I thought the exact same thing when we saw it.
Oh, they did. They absolutely did.
Yeah.
I'm not shocked. It's about representation. It's nice to see. It's a change, finally.
Black Panther was a cultural moment.
Yeah.
And
not to mention it was just a good movie.
Yes. If it was a crappy movie.
Right.
Yeah, you know,
but
that'd
it
have
was
been
a
one
good
thing.
movie for people that look like us too.
Yeah.
It's like, and dark skin, bring it. What? So that was really important too. I think we'll spend the money.
I'm just
gotta
waiting
put
for
it
the
out there.
Okoye spinoff. That show needs some.
I think they're going to give it to her.
Okoye.
Oh, let's hope so. She's been talking about it.
Yeah.
That they're talking about it. I mean, I've heard that the next phase, whatever, of Marvel, a big part of it will be based in Wakanda. Wakanda's going to be kind of like the center where the whatever happens after Part 2 of the next Avengers film, which comes out next weekend, everybody go see it, will somehow be based in Wakanda somehow. So it's going to be kind of exciting.
Okay.
All right.
Really, next weekend?
It's next weekend.
Not this coming weekend, but next weekend.
Oh, not this weekend.
Yeah, no, not this weekend.
The
27th.
All right. So very quickly before we hit the Walking Dead stuff, we have a special little film. Cheeseman, what is this that we're about? And let's go ahead and watch this film. This week, Con Guy goes to Lucasfilm.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Anthony. Can you see Cheese?
Oh,
there's some swagger right there.
Yeah, Star Wars show. We didn't get to be on it, but
but you got to sit on the
chairs.
couch.
That's the set of the Star Wars show.
Which is awesome.
Got to
see some toys and props and things there.
That's Chopper. That's Chopper, the droid. That's the cup that Jabba the Hutt was holding in Return of the Jedi.
Oh, you can see it there.
Hey, you're on the couch.
Jabba the Hutt, the only
Java the Hutt coffee. Nice.
some of the models from the film. This is really cool. We did get to spend the weekend up at Lucasfilm. There's the arm and the blaster. That's me and R2. He was
to
actually
you.
rolling around and talking and everything.
Oh, and Jar Jar Binks.
There he
Everybody's
is.
favorite.
That
And that's
droid,
named Cheese.
the droid is named Cheese. Gonk. And some toys. There's the melted mask. Can you see it, Cheese?
Yep.
That's the Yoda from Empire Strikes Back. And
There's
me
Jim's head. And Yoda.
Yoda, that's nice.
and Imperial
Imperial
Guards.
Guards.
And here's a cool shot. StarWars.com right there on the set. It was really cool. The Han.
And Luke's
Yep.
Han for
What's
the
this?
Carbonite
And that's the real ET, the one that they used when his heart was glowing when he was dying.
It's a model from
Oh,
Jurassic.
that was so sad.
Yeah.
And
Oh
there's
my
our
God, that
final
made me
shot.
cry.
With,
Oh my God, damn
there's
it.
a Luke with somebody on his back. So what did you think about Lucasfilm this week?
It was amazing. ET was strangely one of my favorite moments of seeing the actual one of the ETs that was in there. So, and then there was actual models of Jurassic Park things that was amazing, and of course all the Star Wars stuff was great. And they had replicas, just a beautiful place. And I was surprised how many things were part of Lucasfilm and the company that.
In Industrial Light and Magic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was all done there.
It's
I
up in the
thought it was mainly just
Presidio,
Star
right there at
Wars.
the overlooking the Golden Gate Bridge. It is probably the most beautiful
wow.
setting for a company I've ever seen.
And everybody seemed real friendly and happy there too.
Yeah, they really treated us nice there. We got some really good personal tours through Lucasfilm and everything. We had some in-kind.
And we got swag, but not free
Oh, yeah.
swag. But we bought it.
Got my hat.
Got a discount though.
Yeah,
at least.
we bought this, and it was really cool to see all the films that Lucasfilm has, that Industrial Light and Magic touched and produced, and talking to the people who worked there, and they, for me, as somebody who got into entertainment and came out to Hollywood mainly because of this film when I was a little kid, saw it when I was 5 years old, 8 years, something like that. It was almost hard for me to not have tears in my eyes walking into Lucasfilm. It was just amazing for me.
Yeah, and the tour guide was saying with ET, a lot of times adults will just walk in and see it and just start breaking down. I'm like, I may not be crying in person, but on the inside.
Anyways, we will be posting that video onto the website along with some more pictures and a little bit of a write-up about Lucasfilm. Lucasfilm, thank you so much for hosting us this week. That was so much fun. So much fun indeed. All right. It is now time to talk about the
Spoilers.
Okay, yeah,
We
spoiler
gotta
alert
dig into
again.
this. There will be spoilers because you just can't talk about this without
Yeah.
getting into spoilers. The season finale of one of the biggest shows on TV.
So I'm going to throw it over to Jill and Brennan right now. If you guys
Super
can
fans.
start us with your thoughts on this. Let's start with the season finale of The Walking Dead Season 8. What did you think? All Out War.
I know you're going to say the opposite of this. I liked it better than season 7's finale, although there were some confusing, downright jarring things to happen. So we can do spoilers, right?
oh yeah,
We're doing,
I think
by the
at
way,
this
we are
point,
doing, can you
yes.
remind us of season 7's finale? Because I don't remember.
A tiger ate someone.
Oh, yeah.
The showdown at Alexandria.
We thought Carl was about to get
His
get
hand
the
chopped
Lucille.
off.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
And then it ends with the three of them giving a big speech that we don't actually really hear or something. Okay, whatever.
Because they went on for
Wash.
Yeah.
She
Dwight
basically-
likes leaving
yeah.
notes. He's a great note giver.
So what'd you think? So what'd you think of this one?
I liked it. Okay, so Maggie's now like Dark Willow. Okay.
That was probably the biggest cliffhanger from the episode last night.
What Jesus, who was just preaching to Morgan about not killing, is sitting there twirling his mustache with his, it was just
That was a
bizarre.
surprise.
That was a surprise for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even just to add on to the Jesus thing, I know we're not into Fear the Walking Dead, but he went from telling Morgan not to kill people to, in the end, twirling his mustache to within the first 5 minutes of Fear the Walking Dead, trying to convince Morgan to come back and be nice again.
Yeah. Please come back.
It was a very weird thing, writing wise, with that character.
Yeah, so
I was
what-
very confused.
As a watcher, I was confused because, like you said, Jesus' morality just goes up and down. Up
Jesus,
and
the
down.
character, for those who don't watch the show.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not anti-Jesus. But it was very strange that he's preaching non-killing and didn't want to kill the saviors, didn't want to do any of that, but all of a sudden he's in with Maggie.
He wants to kill Negan.
Yeah, and
which is
Daryl's
odd.
creeping in shadows.
Yeah,
How are you going to turn
But
on
he
your
has
boy?
to go against Rick to do so.
Yeah, that doesn't make any
Well,
sense.
That's what didn't.
yeah, the thing that's weird about the Daryl thing is that the last time we saw him interact with Rick was when when Rick was visiting Abraham and Glenn's graves, and he comes up behind him and kind of apologizes to him. So I thought they were good.
Yeah.
So for him to just randomly turn around now, that sort of like doesn't make any sense either.
And to be so, PO'd at Eugene, it's like, really, dude, you're going against like your best friend. You're
Yeah.
so much worse. And also, I wanted Eugene to like totally either vomit again or punch Rosita in the face, because that was like, she was just out of order.
You could just threaten Daryl with soap. I'll send him running for the hills.
Yeah.
Soap.
It was a friendly punch, though. She said that's for throwing up on him.
Yeah.
It was a friendly punch.
There's such a
And
thing
he
as a
said fair
friendly punch.
play.
I don't like her.
But okay, so it looked like the resolution. For just to bring everybody up to speed, what was the resolution with Negan? Because last night was basically the quote unquote end of the war. What happened?
So basically, there's like this brief fight / chase scene between Rick and Negan, and he gets the opportunity to kill him and decides not to kill him at the last second.
Well, not exactly. Negan had the upper hand,
Yeah.
and then Rick started talking about Carl.
He
and then
shamed him.
He shamed him, and then
totally
Negan's like
shamed him.
crying and stuff, like, "Oh no, not the
Was
kid."
Negan really crying? He was crying.
Yeah.
Tears in his
Starting to-
eyes.
yeah.
And I actually
That was
wish that
strange.
we could have seen more to that.
They,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
cut it too short, and then Rick just cuts him across the throat, which I it's like
Brutal.
weird. Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
thought he was dead, right?
Yeah.
I thought so at that point, and I was like, hang on, this is only a half hour into the episode. Did they kill Negan
Yeah.
already?
The amount of blood that was like coming out of his neck, I don't know how he survived. But so basically, after all that happens, they don't kill him. Obviously, he gets saved by Siddiq. But the main point of it is that instead of killing him, they're going to make him a prisoner as a symbol of the fact that they're rebuilding society, which implies that like society has prisons and checks and balances for behavior and all that kind of stuff. And I like that idea, but I wish that Rick hadn't like lied again. Because
It was so unnecessary to cut that man's throat. Like he was like about to throw in the towel, and then it's like, how do you? The plausibility of it was stupid. Like there was no guarantee that he wouldn't kill him by doing that.
I'm glad that, obviously it's good that Siddiq was there because he must have had his
But did he have a medical kit with him or something? Like
Yeah,
it was
but see,
like,
that,
what? Like,
that was rough. I was having a hard time like wrapping my head around that one.
Well, it's a war zone, though. You gotta expect there's gonna be a medic there.
Yeah,
Well, all right,
I'm
fair
really
enough.
glad though
Yeah.
that they didn't kill Negan off, because there's been a lot of like real rumors around the internet they're gonna kill him off so early, and he's way too fascinating to lose this early on.
And I think
agree.
the jail thing's going to kill him more than anything.
well, I just want to say, when I thought he was dead, I was really upset, which was
I know,
like, I
me
was like,
too.
why are they killing him now?
I was like,
I want the backstory.
I want
just
his back-
started
I-
to like him.
I want his backstory too. Like, what were you saying about his backstory?
I've just always wanted that. Like a lot
Oh,
of times
yeah.
you get annoyed about it, like, oh, they're tying this person. But I've always wanted to see Negan's backstory and how he
Absolutely.
became what
I
he
do
was,
too.
and hopefully
I
while
think
he's
they
locked
will.
up, they will.
I think they will.
They have to.
Yeah,
There's a few YouTube videos that tell you his backstory.
No,
too,
I
if you
want to
guys
see
want that.
Jeffrey
good
do it.
enough.
I
Like,
want to see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
give me like a 2-3 episode thing, or like juxtaposed with him being in prison or something. I'll just have him sitting in a
I
cell
was a
being the
star
wacky
baseball
neighbor.
player.
Yeah, like
especially since like his backstory from the comics is like actually really tragic. So I want to see, especially since they just showed his range of like doing the emotional scenes as well as being the villain. Now I really want to see him act out that more like tragic scenario.
Because he
And
started
maybe we'll
being-
see what's under that bandage.
Exactly. That was a good point you brought up earlier. I
He's
still don't
behind
know
that.
what's underneath that.
Yeah.
Has that been there all season?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's
Really?
always on him. It's on his. It's a bandage about
wonder
from
if
his
it's like a
wrist to here.
tattoo.
It's always freshly wrapped.
Yeah.
I wonder if
think
it's in
his
real
wife.
life a tattoo.
it's probably his wife's
I think
name
it's his
or
wife
something.
or a wedding date or something.
His
Just-
wife's name's Lucille.
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
we
it's-
do know
There's
that.
something he can't look at.
Because we
obviously.
saw a little bit of Negan's humanity in the trash lady. What is her name?
Jadis.
Jadis.
So Anne actually.
Anne. Oh, yeah,
good.
it's Anne.
Yeah.
That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
I like her a lot more than I did.
Yeah, now that we actually see her being a human being, it took them like completely taking everything away from her to get to where the character
Now that
is
she can talk in
believable.
full sentences.
Yes.
She's not Nell.
I'm
She's
so
not young.
glad.
Tay to win.
Nell.
What? And she's got that New York loft in the middle of.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Ellis. That was kind of cool, though. I was like, look
I
at you.
think her character suddenly became more interesting.
Yeah,
I
very
really
much.
did.
so.
And I was kind of upset
When
when.
it killed off all those others. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was the most disgustingly gross scene.
It was awesome.
The meat grinder scene.
Yes, the whole tribe
That was pretty
of
awesome.
people just.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess it was awesome. I guess we'll call it that.
I mean,
Well, I like a little bit of that. That's the whole
yeah,
point.
I mean that was probably like the grossest scene of the whole show. I would
Next to
almost
Noah.
say.
Next, or Noah
Noah's
or
pretty bad,
Bob's
too.
leg was really.
Oh my gosh, I didn't like when Negan was taking the bat and rubbing the skin of the walkers and ripped
Oh,
their
yeah,
skin
he
off
was
and
like-
trying to cause a virus or an
Yeah.
So, okay, so Negan was not killed at the end. They had the. Why did they not kill him? It was because of
Carl.
It's because of Carl. He's the thing that unites him and Rick in one way. You know what I mean? It's like the only thing that they both have strong emotions about, humanity-wise.
But Carl didn't want him incarcerated. He wanted him picking strawberries and just chilling in
That was his
Alexandria.
Hey there, little girl.
Can't have it yet.
Maybe
He wanted his dad to be balding and on a cane, and Negan's just picking strawberries.
He wanted his dad to age 20 years in 5 years.
oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
over
That
was
everyone else.
Over
funny.
everybody else. Everybody else looks the same, but
But
not
like I
Rick.
said, an egotistical maniac. I think
Well-
locking him up
Yeah.
will kill him more than any. That's the best punishment there
He-
is because he's watching things go on without him. It'd be like putting Trump in there or something.
The
you
thing
know?
about Negan that's really interesting is that like he like does things that at surface level is just like, oh yeah, the guy's a psychopath. But up until the war started, if you stacked up the amount of people of his that Rick killed versus the amount of people that he killed of Rick's, Rick is way ahead. He went into that satellite, camp and like stabbed
He
people
butchered,
to
yeah.
death,
That was
death in their sleep. And Negan only killed 2
And
people in revenge of that.
Let's make it clear. Negan took over when he saw that things were. This is post the slaughter at Oceanside. Like Negan took over to stop that kind of thing. And yes, he kills with a song in his heart, but it's very specific. So
Right.
there's layers to this guy. He's not just crazy.
I mean, it could have been justifiable for him to kill like Rick and his entire camp in response to what they did to the satellite people, but he didn't. And he even got mad at Simon when Simon suggested that they kill the trash people because like
Or all the
it's
hilltop
so
people.
important to Negan
People
to
are a
actually
resource.
save people that he
Yeah.
like was willing to kill Simon over that. I mean, he seems more dedicated to preserving life than Rick
and
does.
he tells Rick that I spared your life on purpose because I didn't want to kill the boy's father right in front of him.
Right.
That's what he says. I mean, so he's not.
But his very next line, I should have.
He should have. Yeah. Well, after all this, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's
After-
what makes
he
him such
thought
a
he
great
was
actor.
dying.
He humanizes a monster.
yeah.
But I do have to talk. I mean, I love the fact that we're having this conversation. But 2 years ago, when Negan first showed up on the scene and beat Glenn's head to a pulp and
Yes.
Abraham's to a pulp, did you ever think then that we'd be having this conversation like, oh, but he's not that bad?
Well, that was Daryl's fault, number one.
It totally was Daryl's
I still
fault.
don't believe he's not that bad, but he
Yeah,
is.
I don't think I
he
could say
does
that.
humanize.
I'd say there are layers, but at the same time, like all these arguments we could make about he's only killed this many
Yeah.
of Rick's people. He's killed other people outside of Alexandria.
And it was who he killed,
And
not
it's
how
also
many.
and
It's
also
also
this
how
whole
he
thing of
killed.
Yeah.
instituting this tyranny over everyone. And with him, he kills in order to control,
Right.
and he keeps people alive in order to get other things from
Is
them.
it-
Yeah, it's
Is
like
it-
he doesn't. I don't think he
Yeah.
values life. He values
Yeah.
the
People
resource to
are
make
a
things for him.
resource.
And
Yeah.
I think that that's like in no better way illustrated by when Carl shows up and kills 2 of his men and he gives them a tour and all of his followers kneel like all at the same time and he turns around and he's like, see that? Respect.
But it's weird because he likes it pretty much everybody but Rick and maybe like Daryl or something. But if you stand up and you're like, you are one badass person.
Well, yeah, he is like weirdly
Love
attracted to people
Sasha,
who
yeah.
actually stand up
Yeah.
to him, but
Gabriel,
it's because he never
Eugene,
gets that because
yeah,
everybody's
not
so afraid of him.
Not you.
I
he
think
still
in terms-
treated Eugene very well. He didn't,
I
threaten
think
to
in
throw him
terms
in
of
a dark
layers are the
hole.
same.
Can we talk about Eugene for a minute?
Oh,
Yeah.
What did you guys think about Eugene's turn?
he
I've
was
always
awesome.
been Team Eugene.
Yeah?
Let me just say that. Everyone, and I know that sounds so confusing, but the reality is that the only reason Eugene was there is because if you recall, Rosita made him make a bullet and then had the nerve to miss 5 feet away.
You really got it in for Rosita.
You did not like
That is a good point.
I don't like
that
Rosita
was
at all.
And then
really
Negan's like, well,
devastating.
who made the bullet? And then Tara's like, oh, I did it. And then Eugene's like, crying and sniffling, thinking he's going to die. No, I did it. That's why he's there. But the savior is not because he decided to switch sides. He
Right.
was taken because Rosita is awful.
And Rosita, and also Rosita thought it was a brilliant plan to take Eugene all the way to the bullet making factory and then only manufacture 1 bullet.
that.
I never knew that.
I may not have watched any of the season, but that
very
bothered me.
ridiculous.
Like
So
she didn't
much.
even get a second try. It's like 1 shot
But
or
it
nothing.
takes time, though, as you can see on the show. Like, Eugene, am I gonna get? Like, I need at least 3 or 4 more whole days to make at
It's
least
like-
200
yeah.
bullets. Roger that. Get me
Ever
some
since
mac and
she got
cheese.
dumped, she changed.
Well,
She lost that man, and then that was it. That was it. And for a sister, too.
I actually thought that it was amazing that
She had a sister?
Yo, Abraham,
no,
I'm sorry.
she meant Sasha. 'Cause
I'm so sorry.
Should we
sister.
translate for the whitest person
Yes,
in the room?
yes, I'm sorry. She was really in love with Abraham.
Yeah.
Yes,
and
I
I
think so
saw
was too.
I saw the shift out, and then to leave her for Sasha. I mean, she's
she was
looking
real,
at the woman
she
he
was real
left her
salty
for.
about it. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I like. All the characters have layers. Rick started off as a man of morals, but sometimes you got to switch it up in order to survive. So I don't see anything that he's done that I would not have done throughout what he's gone through in order to keep people safe.
And I'm going to bring this back to Eugene, but in terms of Rick, I just think that until he killed those Hilltop Savior POWs, I can even let the satellite thing go. I was like, okay, that's just a bridge too far. And I still love Rick.
You mean like 2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
that
he totally
him
murdered
and
them.
him and Morgan.
that
They
was
were gonna
very
go
disturbing.
back.
And
But he thought
those
they
of
were
us in
gonna
our
change on him, right?
No, he just
Turn
wanted
him.
to kill them.
I think well they were thinking we have to do this. We have
I-
to.
No,
well, no,
Like,
I
those of
agree,
us
yeah.
that were watching at our house. No, that was it. I remember.
I was more forgiving of it. I mean, I
I
thought
was forgiving him Morgan because he's a nutbag, but Rick was just, he
know.
wanted to go kill people.
I was saying, didn't you say the same thing that?
Yeah, it's just like I don't like this Rick.
Yes.
he,
I don't like this Rick when he just
Kills.
kills.
No,
murders.
Like,
Here's
like
the thing.
the
Again,
hunchback
he's a man of
savior came up and
greed.
told him, like, they want to come back, they're just misguided. And
Yeah.
Rick was like, whatever. I'm
Now
gonna
keep in
kill
mind,
them
he's
all."
still
Yeah.
grieving, though.
Well-
I'm not saying it's okay, but we're talking about a man that just lost his
I know,
son
he-
and
True.
adapts
But it
to
made
his
him read the
atmosphere.
note as soon as he got back.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
he was ashamed about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was ashamed about it when he came back.
I'm
And
pretty
that's
sure
why he
he
changed with Negan, right?
I think he like didn't read that note when Michonne told him to do it because he knew that the note was going to say something in it that forbade him from doing what he was about to go do. He's
Yeah.
like, I just want to get one massacre in before I read the note.
I thought it was grief. Just
But I
grief.
think we've really seen Rick change over time, not necessarily for the better. I mean, in a lot of ways for the worse. And I think that's kind of set things up so over the next few seasons, whatever we get, he can kind of.
Well, that was part of the reason
journey
why
back.
Morgan left, is he said right at the end of the season, "You and I are worse than we were before."
Yeah.
And he referenced 2 weeks ago.
He did. He was
referenced
like,
that.
"Why did you do that?" And
Yep.
I mean, it obviously was like on his mind. Although you could also see it as like he thought that the only way to get out of that room was to like create walker bait. I
Yeah.
could kind of see it both ways. But I think he did go out with the intention of killing those people based on
totally.
based on like the way that he interacted with that one
He
savior.
hunted them down.
Morgan's
agree.
starting to sound like that dude at the bus terminal, though, who thinks he's Jesus. It's just after a while, like
going
just the crazy
But
dude.
Derek, let me ask you, Trace, just what is your opinion about Rick's his development, his character development, his moral development from this season to where he's ended up now? What do you feel about where he's been and where he's at now?
It's tough. I'm just guessing that the writers have kind of taken him on this journey and that they're probably planning on having some kind of story of him trying to make his way back, especially having lost Carl now. He's got this challenge from Carl in the letter about trying to get back to what he was before. This whole thing about, the walks with baby Carl, and he's saying, take Judith on those walks too, because she'll remember. And then at the end we hear him saying, I remember it. and him reflecting back on the way life was before this whole apocalypse.
That was a
wanting
great
to try and
scene.
reclaim that.
That like
Yeah.
flashback with the cop. That was
Yeah.
such a great scene.
You mean,
Oh, yeah.
this week's?
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah, that was a really well done like way of showing what he was thinking at the
Yeah.
time.
Like, and we were, some people were talking, that's what connects, that's his humanity, that's where he connects, and that's what he needs to get back to. That's what we're fighting for, I guess, is what it is. And it seems like this season, the theme has been, why are we fighting? Why are we killing? What are we doing? What is it that we want to be on the other side if we do win? And that's why I personally loved that they ended with the sparing the life of Negan, although I think I am probably in the minority on that opinion.
I'm torn on that because
I
he
love
did.
the fact that he spared it too.
I kind of do, but he was killing all these other guys who were much more like
I know.
forced into this situation, whereas Negan was the one controlling
It's
them
kinda
and setting
like-
it all up, and that's the one you spare.
We killed hundreds and hundreds of people
Yeah.
so we can spare one man.
But they were all lemmings though, who were just following orders.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but you have
And they
to
gave up.
get the head of the snake. You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what's important, and that if you're gonna mount anything, it has
mean,
to be
Because
Negan.
Jared was still evil, like those guys.
I
were
feel
still
like,
evil. Simon.
What's the name of that one blonde savior who at the very end,
Laura.
the second that she saw that Negan was done,
Laura,
she
yeah.
immediately
Yeah, she
surrendered.
dropped it.
And
yeah.
they, well, where was Morgan? Because
She's the one that
she's
betrayed
so
Betrayed
lucky.
Dwight,
too, right?
Yes.
She's so lucky.
She's the one that told on Dwight too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
which I thought that was dumb that he didn't say it was her first. Like if that was me, like have you guys seen Laura? Oh no. Oh man, she was the mole. Like for real.
Yeah,
Like, she
there was no
killing
like
all
back
the
and forth.
saviors. I was dodging bullets. Like,
Yeah.
The other thing about kind of like Rick coming back to humanity that I thought was like really well done in this episode was he said after the fight was over, my mercy prevails over my wrath, and you realize then that he's chuckling because he just now finally understands what Siddiq meant when he overheard the conversation between Carl and Siddiq in the first episode. Because remember,
What was it he said?
he said so. Carl's like wandering around, and Siddiq starts talking to him from behind a car, and he says that his mother told him a line from the Quran: "My mercy prevails over my wrath."
Oh,
and Rick's
yeah.
like around the corner. He hears this. He runs out, shoots into the air, and like he scampers off. He like it finally clicks for him what that's supposed to mean after the Negan
That's pretty
is,
cool.
is finally done, and he's like sitting there on the tree, just like it's over, and then he chuckles and says that like, "Oh, I get it now."
That's awesome.
Like it was a callback to like 16 episodes ago.
I have to wonder. Okay, when
That was
Rick,
very well done.
when
Yeah.
Rick was fighting Negan in that moment, do you think he was planning on sparing his life, or was he like still at war with this and he was gonna just strike one more time, and then he saw that he wasn't quite dead yet, and he said, "Help him."
well, apparently some scenes were
a great
missing to help bring that into more context. But like I didn't really understand the
Yeah.
like Rick's not a surgeon. How do you know which way to cut someone's
Honestly,
throat and not murder them?
That was like an example where I think they should have done it differently from the comics, because there was just a lot like of other ways that he could have physically disabled him without making an absolutely perfect slice.
Was this
right
in the
across.
comics? Was this similar to the
He
comics?
does it with a knife, not a piece of glass.
Because I know that in the comics, I did know that Negan did not die, that he was put
Yeah.
into jail. But didn't he become friends with Carl while he was in jail? In the comics?
Yeah.
I think they already were starting to become friends before that, but I don't know.
Now we don't have a whole lot of time here. We have to kind of start wrapping up, but we do have to talk about Fear the Walking Dead.
And before we do that, we have one quick question from a viewer, and probably just one of us should answer this. They're talking about the dip in kind of people's interest. They were wondering if someone could talk about the dip in the interest, because they currently stopped watching after the season before just because it was kind of a chore to watch. And
What do you think?
So I actually think that like this whole hysteria over like the show is gonna get canceled because nobody is just that hysteria. I mean, like TV ratings aren't really that accurate anymore because a lot of people watch it on DVR or wait till the next year to watch it on Netflix or pirate it or do all these other things. So those numbers really don't mean anything. And two, like they're making a ton of money from other things too, like T-shirts and selling tickets to go see the show in theaters and all these other things. The bottom line is that they would not have renewed the show after one episode into season 8 if they did not believe it was going to be a profitable venture. So
And just to add on it, I think some of it is a lot of maybe disappointed comic fans, like for them going off in their own different directions. And you see it all the time online, and if the show does something different, then they get put out. So that might be part of it as well.
Show's
And a
not
lot of
going
people
anywhere.
demanded wanted Glenn's death, and then when they got Glenn's death, everyone was upset about it.
Yeah, you can't please everybody.
So that's yeah. So now
Can I ask a
they're
quick question? I'm sorry. The significance of the windows after you're done.
Okay. Yeah, just on this person's side, just I feel like in some ways they've spread the characters out so much that it's hard to like show everybody, and then it's like, oh, I
agree.
forgot about that character. Like 3 episodes later, like it's like everything became so spread out and kind of drawn out where they could have probably tightened things a little more.
I think it's going to get back to that now after the
But,
war
yeah, I'm
thing,
hoping-
because
Game of
now
Thrones.
they're basically all at the hilltop because the kingdom and Alexandria got destroyed. So
And but according to Variety, though, viewership is down 30% this year as compared to last year. So that's a significant drop. That's almost a third of people have stopped watching it over 1 year. We do have to kind of start wrapping up here, but I think there is some hysteria. To what you just said, I think that is probably there's a reason why we saw everybody together in one spot last year. I think they wanted to remind us of all these. Okay, my computer is having a virus overtake it right now, so I'm closing that part down. But anyways, if we can kind of quickly jump into Fear the Walking Dead, which is
so good.
do you guys watch it?
Oh yeah.
yeah. We watched it before, but and Brandon actually pointed this out to me last night. I think that it's not even a crossover; it's a rebooting with Morgan.
It is.
because
Basically.
it's
It's
the
a
Morgan
rebranded
story.
spin-off is
Yeah.
what it is.
I agree.
I'm a season behind on Fear the Walking Dead, and I watched this episode, and the way it picks up with totally new characters,
Yeah.
including Maggie Grace's character, Althea. who
Luke's,
turned out to be
Yeah.
Luke's
really
cousin
cool.
is
Yeah.
Althea. Yeah.
And more likable characters.
Dude,
Yeah.
how likable was John Dory? I mean,
Yes,
It was amazing.
they all
Awesome.
felt
Dude.
so
And we're
good.
sitting there. We watched it today, and I was like,
I
I
was really
already
into
like
it.
this character
Yeah.
more than any character
on the
that
show, and
Yeah.
they framed all the original characters as the bad guys
Yes.
at the end of the
That's what we
episode.
were noticing
Yeah.
too.
So, like, I think what they did is like they kind of tricked us in a way because they made it look like a crossover, but really what this is a Morgan rebranding spinoff. Where
Yep.
Morgan is going to be
Yeah.
Rick and John Dory is going to be Daryl.
Yeah, it is. It is. And what about Madison?
I don't know what's going to
know how that's
happen with
gonna
her.
work, yeah.
By the way,
Honestly,
did you see the end of last season? Mm-hmm. When basically everybody became so bad that it was almost. I just didn't like anybody.
I didn't like anybody either, and I thought the last season was actually really well done, like just production.
I did too.
I like that one guy from the ranch who they killed.
I know.
Not the crazy one, the nice one.
The brother.
The brother,
Yeah.
the guy from the following.
I was gonna say.
I
the-
knew he was
the
going
guy
to
from
die the
ranch
moment
they
she's
killed.
like, you're the
That's
last good
everybody.
guy left in the world. And then I'm like,
It really is.
there's the death
mark of
note.
death.
Okay.
Well,
He's not coming
let me
back.
ask this, since I haven't seen the last season. Has Nick started making Horcruxes yet?
Oh, gee, she's getting close.
Has he started making what?
Horcruxes. Sorry, it's the actor who played the young Tom Riddle in Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince.
Oh, okay.
But
But okay,
somebody's gonna get that joke.
we got about one.
Somebody out
We have
there.
about a
Yeah.
minute here, guys.
When my wife listens to the show, after she's caught up with Walking Dead, she's gonna laugh.
Hey, Laura. By the way, congratulations. She has a screening tomorrow night for a movie that she's kind of, sort of, and we don't want to go there, but I just want to say congratulations on that going on. Hey,
Yeah, I'll talk to you all after it. Invite
okay.
you to come.
By the way,
Yeah.
I am super stoked to start watching Fear the Walking Dead again. I have. I've sort of still been watching it. I've missed a lot of episodes. He was catching me up and telling me about, killing this person in the head with a hammer. The good guys are dying. Everybody's dying. And I was just getting tired of it. And it just seemed so dreary.
Because that group will like just murder people to like it's for my family, but like, do you want to do terrible things just for your family?
I was pulling for everybody in Walking Dead, even though they're conflicted. I still think there's goodness to people there. The goodness seemed to be seeping away in Fear the Walking Dead. Even though I love Madison, I love her character. I think she's strong.
But I love
Even
the
Nick
new
wasn't
characters.
trusting her
Who?
at the end.
I love these new characters.
Yeah.
This new season,
Yeah, I love
think
them right
is gonna be
away.
Great.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
They
Those
have
three are
something
probably
that
gonna be the
the
main
original
characters
cast
for
did
sure.
I think you're
not
right.
have.
I hope
Jenna
so.
Elfman will
Yeah.
be good too.
I
think.
I
I
felt
hope
the
she
way
comes in, yeah.
I felt the way about John Dory the same way that I felt about Rick in the pilot episode.
Yep.
Like I'm like on board with this guy. I want him to find his like wife with the matching pistol, and like I want to know more about him and how
Yeah.
he's like such an amazing shot, and
He's
like
so
he's
good.
just fascinating.
And I still like Strand.
I do
I
too.
do.
He's
But-
the most interesting character from the previous cast.
Yeah.
Or the
And
existing cast.
in Madison, I like her when she's with Strand.
No, I do too.
Only then.
That makes
Her
and the
kids
thing
can
is,
go.
and the thing is, we were at the Wondercon convention. Did you guys go to Wondercon this year?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. We saw you
We
there.
ran it, yeah.
Oh, you saw him. And did you go to the Fear the Walking Dead panel?
They
we
were
did.
there.
Yes.
We saw each other right after.
Which kind of gave away everybody who would not be returning this year on the show. So we kind of knew who was coming, who wasn't going to be there. So you knew the brothers were gone. You knew the dad was gone. Was Strand was there? Was Strand on the panel?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was? Okay.
Okay, good. Anyways, I'm super stoked for Fear the Walking Dead. If you guys are not watching it, now is the time to start. It's just like a brand new show now.
I checked the critic reviews today. That first episode has an 100% on Rotten
Does it?
Tomatoes.
It was really good.
Good.
100%.
They
That's
just
crazy.
need to kill Alicia.
Yeah, it feels. Oh my gosh.
It feels like a new show.
Alicia,
it's a new
Rosita.
show.
It does. It's a great show. All right, guys, we do have to start wrapping up here. Thank you so much for watching. Can everybody please tell me where our fans can find you guys online?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at ConGuyDerek.
Oh, you can find me at Living Rashon or at Jill Roby Fangirl.
And what do you guys got? What do you have going on?
In terms of social media?
Well, no. Like your videos and things you guys release.
Oh, we do commentary.
YouTube.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
do a live discussion show while the episode is actually airing, Facebook Live, and then we also do commentary videos throughout the week on the recent episodes.
All right,
Will you do it with Fear as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Get everybody watching. We watching these guys. Yeah.
The Living Rashon on Facebook, at
Facebook.
Living Rashon on Twitter.
All right. Thanks, Brandon.
Oh, I'm Candy Ford. I'm coming out of semi-retirement and will be back at the Comedy Store doing some stuff. And I also have a video game coming out, some voiceover.
We are super excited about it.
Thank you very much. So, but right now I'm living La Vida Sofa.
As soon as you find out about it, let us know. We'll post it on the website.
Absolutely.
And Katie Christine on Twitter and Instagram. I also have my cosplay account, which is Katie's_fairytale.
And I'm Cheeseman on the Couch. You can find me on theconguy.com and thescareguy.com and on Twitter at CheeseOnCouch.
Cheese on Couch. Thank you for tuning in this week. Subscribe, listen, love us. We'll see you guys soon.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
Views expressed herein are those of the host only, do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.